all the damn work I put in with you.
Lufisto.
What can you do with this person who's new so they look good, you look good, and everybody's safe?
Might as well put him in a black leather jacket and a black hat.
Jeff Lippman.
It looked like she was too slow for school, but she came out playing the hot mean girl.
That looked really good.
Boiled them, fried them, put them in a stew. Boiled them, fried them, put them in a stew. Boiled them, fried them, put them in a stew. It's LFG Season 2, Episode 10. Shawn Michaels says it's the playoffs in 2 weeks. Elimination starts very soon. Start. Goddamn, I can't speak anymore. I'm still drunk. I haven't recovered from a few things that happened at Clash in Paris, I guess. Anyway, so this week it's about the absolute best wrestling match they can have. Can you follow that, my dear Jeff?
My dear Lufisto, let's see if I can follow you. I'm not sure. It is episode 11. We know that the playoffs are coming in 2 weeks. We also know that in 2 weeks on TV time, heaven knows when that's actually filmed or was filmed in the actual real life chronology of the world. But I have a feeling that some of the people that were being cooked in the stew maybe were like the frogs who, as the gas got higher and the flame got higher, they had no idea they were boiling themselves to death. And I think some of them hopped down and rose to the occasion. So
was it episode 10 or 11?
I think it's 11. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure it's 10. Well, as Aqua will say, well,
yeah. Well, let's see if I can find it on my recordings on recently deleted. So you know what? You're right. Episode 10. Follow that with episode 10. There you go. Yeah. So I better change my note, because otherwise it would just be deleted and then still useless. So,
yep. Speaking of follow that,
yes, exactly. Yeah,
we're doing great. Shawn
today.
Michael. I love that Shawn Michael, mentioned how much of a dick he used to be. So that.
Yeah.
And, yep.
And
so
you know what?
This week
he used to tell people after his great match, follow that. Can you follow that? And that was basically the challenge. And there was some interesting dynamics this week, and I really enjoyed this episode. I'm really looking forward to talking about it with you. I didn't take as many notes as I usually do, and I think that was on purpose so that we don't, cover the same ground. But Taker, he told Drake that he needs him to be tested, and he needs Drake to show up, which is not the first time you've said that, but Drake Morreau, okay, I think that we'd both agree. Some of the time he's risen to the occasion and stood out. Other times he's been better than average, and other times he's just been okay, but, basically sort of a forgettable, generic, you could see him in any indie card wrestler. He so wants to see something more. Penina, it's like Michelle's not sure if anybody wants to fight Penina. So, which is a little bit of a weird statement since it's not really fighting, but this week maybe it is. But,
she says like she's up there, so everybody's expecting her to go down. So she has to stay up there and keep her momentum.
Yeah, well, Booker's like, I know someone who wants to fight her. Bubba's talking up how everybody needs to thank Zena for raising their game, which is consistent for Bubba. He's not entirely wrong, but she's not the only one. I mean, there are other people who consistently, their opponent has their best match with them. And Booker, who is probably the low-key star of the show, maybe not entirely for the right reasons, I'm not sure. That's something that we're going to need your insight for. I don't think that's a spoiler. I think that you probably saw that one coming a few miles away. He needs Harlem to step up, and they get into that really into detail. So Booker tells Sirena that she has stepped up for Team 5 Time. I think that's the first time he's mentioned that his team's name is Team 5 Time.
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, he also says to Sirena, everybody sees Penina, but not me. I see you as the star.
That's great. And Penina's like, she's not even that spicy. I eat habaneros for free. And to remind us, at some point in the past when they had a match, I don't know if it was season 1 or if it was season 2, there was a botch spot where I guess Sirena tried to do a Hurricane Rana sort of from the flop position, or where Penina was going to do a body slam, and just like everything went all the way wrong. Frankly, I don't remember that, but so that's our first match, is Sirena against Penina.
That was scary, actually. I like that they actually show the Hurricanrana. Like, it's like a step up, like the Hurricanrana in the middle of the ring. And, well, Sirena kind of landed half on her head, but the front of her neck, it was just like, oh, God. Like, she was really close to breaking her neck. So, yeah, that was... I've seen that before, and it's pretty scary. So they say that she might try to repeat that move, and that she's going to get it this time. So yeah, indeed, that was her first match. And when it comes to Sirena, I felt like her entrance was it was better, because with the gear, the makeup, and she also did the headbang when she was on the corner, like in a split position. I just felt she looked like a star. Like she completely changed. Like, especially if we look back at that clip that they showed with the Hurricanrana, she really looked like a generic enhancement talent at this point. And even, I mean, less than that, like create a wrestler or something with your backyard baggy kind of like sweats or whatever Jey Uso was wearing in the main event of the last Clash in Paris.
Not
no. I mean, they look comfortable, but it's not main event quality to me. But yeah, I look like a star. And you know what? Here's the thing. Penina went out, and I just felt her entrance was blah. It had no pizzazz. It had, you know how last week, like, we felt like she had more momentum to everything she did? This week I was like, besides when she did the pose in the ring and screamed at the camera, I was like, maybe it's because Sirena stepped up so much that Penina, to me, like, I'm beginning to be tired of her. And I'll explain why as we go through this match, but I don't know if you felt the same way just looking at them, like, with the entrances.
Yeah, I mean, the stark contrast from the Sirena from the before and after, which was a long before ago, but yeah, it basically looked like any woman coming out of the gym or yoga class or whatever the case is, and now she's in, wrestling gear looking like a star. I did not have the same feeling with you with Penina coming in, because I think she came in a methodical, heel way, and we've been critical that it's not always clear to tell who the heel and the face is, and this time there was no confusion. Sirena was the clear face, looking all smiles and doing her thing, and Penina came in as, I'm just here to kick your ass. I'm just here to come in and kick your ass and leave. I'm here to take care of business, and I didn't mind it. Yes, she sort of, her hand motion, which I've never really loved. But when she puts a little oomph on it, puts a little speed on it, it looks more impressive than when she just sort of does like the triangle and splits them slowly. It sort of looks a little lazy. She was back to sort of the lazy version of it. I don't know what that symbol means. Maybe it means something, in her culture. Maybe it means something on the streets. Maybe it's just something she came up with. I have no idea.
Yeah, because we don't know anything about these people before.
Right. But I felt it was fine. Now the match itself, I think that you should probably break down the match, and then I'll add my 2 cents at the end, because nothing.
So it's funny because you say, like, you knew who was heel, was face, and from the wrestling, I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure because they start with a lockup and they go to the corner, and Sirena gets out of it and she double slapped Penina in the back, which is so heel at the beginning of a match. And then here's what the thing that I love, though. Like, every time Penina was hitting her, like, one shot, she would take a bump, a nice snap bump. She tried to arm drag, blocked her. They really worked the size versus speed very good in this match. The inside cradle and the suplex, everything, like she was countering everything Penina was doing, which made sense because she can't pick her up for big moves. So she had to use speed and be a little bit more clever about everything. And she also did the pull rope where the big girl goes out, and she went for a Hurricanrana. And oh Lord, did she go into the guardrails, or I don't, it's not really guardrails. It's how would you describe that?
The barricades, the padded
Barricades. Yeah, it's because they kind of look covered by something. I don't like, I know the Raw ones, like they have a little cushion on it, but anyway, she went through this and then they went inside and for a hold. And I've noticed both of them cannot work the hard cam. The Roman cam on the side had to move to get the hold, like the front of it. Usually when you're in a hold, you have to turn around towards hard cam, but they did not do that. One point, Penina throws her in the corner, and Michelle kind of goes like, well, she wanted her to go in the corner because she kind of just grabbed her and pull, but I felt it looked sloppy. Yeah, it looks sloppy. It was like, it's not because you're bigger that you don't have to apply yourself to do the whips good. And then they went into the Hurricanrana. However, she did it in a corner like Mickie James and she fired up, like Sirena fired up. And suddenly, she was wrestling like a babyface. Like, to me, she started as a heel, but then went into a good fire up. And I was really, really impressed by, she actually did the Molly go round as a finisher. So I was like, yeah, that very good finisher for her. Like, nobody uses it at the moment, so it would be cool to bring it back. Like, it's a little like tribute to Molly Holly. But I mean, overall, speaking for myself, I had no clear idea of who was heel, who was face until the end. And Sirena fired up good, and that's where I knew that she was the babyface. But everything she did at the beginning of the match, the slaps, I was like, it's eelish. And P Nasty had the same expression the whole match. So to me, it was.
She only has two expressions: annoyed and really annoyed.
there comes a time where she needs to start adding more. It doesn't matter that she's bigger. It doesn't matter that she has a presence. People has to feel her presence. Like, she needs to scream. She needs to change her expression on face. It's the same, resting bitch face. And I was like, you know what? I'm getting bored of her. I see the same thing every fucking week. And she doesn't give me anything to kind of care about her. The match had it was a good execution for pretty much everything, but the characters, they were kind of bland to me. And I mean, for Sirena as a baby face, yeah, she fired her up, but she didn't work to get any sympathy from the crowd, or there was no sense of urgency. Like, I couldn't really feel it. And then Penina attacked her about, after the bell with a takedown. Someone dropped, both looked good. But yeah, overall, I was like, great execution, but I didn't really care about who they were, what they are. And yeah, Penina needs to start to change and add a little bit more, because to me, it's the same. And like I said, I'm really getting bored.
Well, welcome to my perspective, because that's sort of how I felt from Penina early on. I've never said she's bad. I've always said she's good, and she always does well, but it's basically always the same thing. Mm-hmm. And and this was it again. I'll say this. There were a couple things that I thought were really good. You made an allusion to it. Sirena was basically on defense most of this match, and Penina was on power. I'm not going to quite call it offense, but she was on power game. Mm-hmm. And Sirena did the clever thing where she did lift the middle rope, and Penina basically threw herself out of the ring that through her momentum. And then Sirena did some good stuff on the outside, and Penina hauling her into the barricade or the bumper, whatever we want to call it. That was great. It was good stuff on the outside. It was good stuff to get onto the outside. Beyond that, I thought Sirena was just okay. I don't have any real complaints about Sirena other than repeating what we've already said, and probably what I've said most every week. So I won't, which isn't that much of a complaint, except that it's the same all the time. Now, Serena, this is her finisher, and they did make a big deal of it last year when Molly Holly was there, and she asked the permission to use it, and it took her a lot of time to do it, and she got the timing down, and then it was like, the last scene of season 1 of Glow when Allison Brie finally, hit the body splash. So I wasn't surprised that she hit it. It's just that it's not that impactful, and she really wasn't doing anything to set up that Penina was ready to be pinned. So it just was generally okay. And then, Penina just sort of ate the loss because it was time to eat the loss. And then Penina did the post-loss beatdown, which is fine. It's consistent with the character, and the beatdown was fine, but to make her look good. But it's like they didn't worry about sort of protecting her before then. It's more like they were worried about protecting Serena, who didn't do much of anything except play, get beat up, play possum, except on the outside. So this match did not impress me at all.
I mean, the story of, power versus speed or cleverness, whatever you want to, use. I didn't say much about it because I feel it's the same thing every week where when it's time to go to the finish, they just go. Like, they don't have a plan to go to the last move, like a go home sequence. And I feel it happens in a lot of matches. So that's why I was like, but you're absolutely right. Why didn't Penina go for her someone drop and then Serena slides behind like a DDT or something of a face plant where she can sell and a little bit, more fire or something where it gives her time to climb the top rope and it makes sense that she hits her finish. There was like kind of nothing much before. And the way they set up the match, which is Serena on defense, the finish should have been something quick where Penina goes for something and again, Serena's just quicker and 1, 2, 3 and oh fuck, because that's the way the whole match was built. It's just like it ended with a move instead of like a quick pin or something flash yeah, exactly. There was nothing to set up to the move. It's just like, it's like the ref says like, okay, it's time for the finish. And then climb the rope, boop, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
The move looked good, but indeed there was like nothing before.
Yeah, I'm pretty convinced that these matches are not heavily edited, and they do have a hard time limit on them, so that's why we're getting these abrupt finishes. I don't, like with Serena, I feel like they've helped her create a character who has a good entrance and can do certain acrobatics and can get beat up. But other than that, she doesn't have a lot of offense. Like, what I would have liked to have seen is sort of like why am I drawing it? Lola Vice, sort of the sidekick, like the spinning sidekick. And really, so many wrestlers do that now, like the super kick to the gut. And then I would have liked to seen Serena use the spear against Penina, her own move, and so that her gut, she sort of lost her win. And then the finisher, because she's already sort of lost her wind, and now you've really taken that by like landing, doing a little flip and landing on her sternum, and that took her out of it. So some combination. I don't know if she has the move set, and it doesn't need to be that move set by any means, but yeah, I think we both said this felt very mediocre. But hopefully,
I don't see her as a babyface, so I don't think she's comfortable having those moves. I just think she's good at, jaw jacking and killing time and choking and do all kinds of heel shit. I think that's where she's at her best. So that's why as a babyface, she doesn't have enough it's not natural to her to go into moves and fire up with a bunch of things. I think she's a heel. She's good at, beating down people and using like she can do the split. I don't know why she doesn't use that in her offense where the person's in the corner. Like even Penina's so tall and Serena with her leg, the way she can do the split, she can like put her feet underneath her throat and choke her like and almost doing like a standing split. That would look great, but that's obviously a heel move. But yeah, I just felt there it was like, she went through the motion, but she's a heel and she's a heel to me. And that's how I see her. And as a babyface, it's like, like very average, doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see that split incorporated more. And it doesn't have to be the Nikita Lions, say
No.
split slam or like Melina, but I wouldn't mind like every now and then the heel is coming to deliver a clothesline or a spear or something, and she, goes down and does a split, and they go right over the top.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
like sort of like, she matrixes herself out of it. She is more of an acrobat. I see. The funny thing is, she reminds me. She's more athletic, and she's not as pretty, but she sort of reminds me of Aaliyah, that woman that they sort of rushed up from NXT. Well, they didn't really rush her up, but they had her come up from NXT, and she like holds the record of the fastest win, and she beat Natty with, and then like nothing, and then she got released. She sort of reminds me of her. It's like they like the way she looks. They like some things that she can do, but they haven't quite figured out how to put it together. And she hasn't quite figured out how to put it together. And I don't know. I'm sometimes I see glimpses of it, but not enough to say she should be a contender in the competition. Frankly, I'd like to see more of some of the other ladies, and I'm not limiting that to Zena and Dani, who are our next match.
First
Bubba,
time match.
yeah, so first time, and they're both veterans of season 1 as well. Bubba thinks that something is wrong in Zena's head, and that she's putting everyone else before herself. And I mean, I think there's something to that, but I'm really confused. And I think this is a theme throughout the show. Like, and you'll have to address this because you're the insider, or I hope you'll address it, but there's two sort of themes throughout the show. How important it is to put someone else over versus yourself. How do you make it so that how do you know when when enough is too much, or when enough is enough and you're giving too much? And also to show that killer instinct. How do you know when enough is enough? Because that was the other counter story, or the other parallel story, where people didn't quite know when was enough and when they were going overboard, or if they were even going overboard, and the judges were disagreeing on it. And I don't know that you have to answer these things now, because they come up in different matches. But Taker is telling Dani, separate yourself from the pack. I want Zena to see fear, which is basically what he told her last week as well. I want to see the dog in you. And then a weird thing, we got no entrances, so we don't know who's supposed to be the face or heel on that. And I'm going to let you take it from there. And then, like I said, I'll add my, what tends to be more than 2 cents, maybe somewhere between 3 and 5 cents.
Yeah, what Bubba says, like, you bring out the best in everyone. But here's the thing. It's part of the job. I mean, if you have someone who has less experience, you gotta, I don't like to use lower yourself, but you have to adapt to whatever they're good at, so the match itself looks good. If you go out there, you want to do all your shit and you want to shine and stuff, but the other person is not there yet, the match might look like shit. And then it's terrible for everyone that's involved. So you got to put your stuff in, but in a way where the match still looks good and it fits with whatever the other person is capable of doing. So it's a very good question, but how to answer it, like, is there like, it's really a lot about feelings. Once you're out there, you got to work the crowd. You got to do the things you're good at. And you got to do the things that your opponent is capable of taking. And you have to be able to take whatever the opponent is doing too. Like, the match from bell to bell has to be good. That's the most important thing. And you got to tell a story within the few minutes you have. Otherwise, like, if it's all about shining and everything, like, you're not going to tell a story. You're going to get your shit in, and it's going to make like great fucking gifs online, but is it going to make me or the viewer care about this match? No, they might go woo on the few things. You got to work together. There's no other way to put it. I mean, like I said, I haven't seen season 1, and I thought I would be able to, but I can't. I have too many things to do. But yeah, I was like, yeah, but it's part of the job. So they went in there like you said, no entrances, which I thought like it was like, I like to see the entrances to kind of know who's face who's heel. What we know from the start, with their, kind of half handshake, that they're both baby, and they first wrestle like very baby wrestling holds, and there's like great stuff in there. Facial expressions, they scream, wrenching the arm, like really working the holds. And at one point, like Dani literally turns heel in the match, and Taker says it's like, oh, she just turned heel because she used the ropes, and she's like, fuck it, whatever. And then she starts to be aggressive, which it was clear enough for whoever was sitting there. They got that she said, fuck it, and I'm going to do whatever I want to win this match, which makes sense because she's smaller, so she has to do extra things. Zena, for me, it was her best match that I've seen this season because she was fighting back, she was selling every little things in between, and the way she did the moves, the way she was taking the moves was the best I've seen her. Dani stayed on her. Zena's hits were so much better. She was working the crowd. She was very vocal. She was looking at them. And they went, like, the finish was great because Dani used the roll up using the tights. And my God, did she pull those tights? So it made, like, it look good and it was believable. I felt that Dani was, like, wrestling aggressive, but she forgot to tell her face and her mouth. Like, so there wasn't enough for me to go, like, oh, she's really fucking mad. She's wrestling aggressive, but that was about it. But it was a good match, telling a great story, working on the arm. Finally, Zena was selling her arm, and it made sense because, at least she worked on it the whole match. And even Bubba mentioned it, that they worked well together and everything was fluid, which I agree. It was a very good match.
I mean, what Bubba was saying about Zena, Undertaker, or you and I, or anybody can say about Dani. I mean, Dani routinely gives people their best match, and she never seems to quite get the points. So, it works both ways. So, that leaves me a little confused. I mean, Zena definitely was a little bit more animated. You're right. They both, I think that maybe cutting out the entrances was on purpose because they wanted to see the heel turn in that there was that turn in there. And yeah, and that was good. And that was some drama. I still didn't feel the heat from Dani. I just don't. I don't. Is it the face? Maybe. Is it she's too small? I don't think so, because I see it. I know that you don't watch Evolve, but on NXT last few weeks, Kendall Gray's been on, and I see in her what I think. I mean, she's a different type of wrestler. Obviously, she's got that amateur background, really successful one at that, but I completely forget how small she is, the way she works.
Well, here, if we just watch LFG, Ace Jameson, since she went into her character heel with the pink hair and stuff, my God, she's really into it. Everything she does screams, I'm a heel. I hate you and you guys stink. So you don't need to go very far to see what Dani's missing. Whatever Ace is doing, to me, as a heel, Ace is so good right now. And I forget she's small because she's sneaky, she cheats, she does every fucking dirty trick in the book to get to the point of trying to win. She will do anything. And I didn't feel that from Dani. She's just trying to be aggressive, but you're a heel. You're supposed to cheat. Especially if you're small, cheat, be dirty, try to do things behind the referee's back.
Your own hair.
Yeah.
Hit the ground. Something nice. I actually liked Zena's sort of her roundabout, her sort of haymaker, forearm smashes to the chest.
That looks so much better. Remember how I was saying her forearm looked like shit? Because the one on the sides were really bad, but she's doing those, I like to call them Japanese forearms, you go up and down instead of from the side, like a punch. Yeah. So that looked better, and that looked it makes noise also, because it's meat to meat. It's meat from the forearm on the chest right away. And it looks everything looks so much better from Zena. I was like, okay, if she could do that every week, I see what Bubba's talking about. It's there.
Yeah. And the story was that Dani was working the shoulder, and Zena, even if she's on offense or defense, she's always selling her left shoulder. So at least it fit here. And the story was that Zena was trying to put Dani in a power move, and basically her shoulder went out on her. So Dani sort of squirmed down, put her in a roll up. And it's not just that she pulled the tights, she actually pulled her skirt, which was,
Yeah, and
I thought that was great.
almost sat on her. So that was like, yeah, everything to win. So that was,
I thought that was great. And that's because we got a shot of a dairy. I'm sorry, I'm almost 57. I don't get excited by seeing, 22-year-olds, in wrestling gear any longer.
it was very ill. It was ill.
Yeah, but if you're pulling the tights and the tights don't end there and there's no waistband, it doesn't really work. And the few people, I mean, I've seen that. So to pull up the skirt, that was smart and it looked good. So I really like.
Oh yeah, she grabbed everything she could to get that win.
Yeah. Then we see Booker, and he's giving Harlem a pep talk, I guess. But he's really in Harlem's face, and he's like, I'm the only one who believes that you're the guy. You don't even believe you're the guy, but I believe you're the guy. And I need you to be stiff. I need you to crack his ass. I need you to galooly his ass. For those of you who don't know, that's a blowback to like 25 years ago, the Olympics, where Tanya Hardy's, ex-fiance, Jeff Gillooly, maybe upon her direction, depending on who you believe, directed Jeff Gillooly and his henchman, I forgot his name, to basically kneecap Nancy Kerrigan. And she goes, oh, why me? And then everyone sort of turned on her. Anyway, so he's going Gillooly his ass. And I need to ask you this, because Harlem has been a loose cannon a little bit and sort of needs to be, like, he needs to be molded, and he's sort of like angry clay, and he needs to be molded. And I sort of felt like maybe that's Taker's job, is to play head games with the opponent, but Booker, he should be molding them and shaping. Instead, he seemed like he was playing with fire. Or do you think that this was exactly what Harlem needed? Because I don't, again, remember the parallel questions, and this is the other one. How do you know when is too much as a coach and a performer?
Well, when I saw that, I was like, I didn't know if it was overacted but as a coach, you're not supposed to go and say, be stiff and beat his ass. This is like a recipe for you not to get booked anywhere. And we're going to get that because Taker mentions it at one point. And, Harlem he said he was going to listen to Booker, whatever he says. So he says, I got you, coach. But I was like, when do as a coach, you could say be snug, like I want your hit to look good or whatever, but stiff, there is a big difference being snug and being stiff. And I was like,
and does Harlem even know the difference? Is he far enough?
Yeah, probably. Maybe not. So I was like,
but he said stiff. He didn't say snug. I mean,
oh no, he said
you're
stiff.
Right either way.
Beat his ass. So I was like,
so I don't think he did his guy any
It's
favors.
either absolutely wrong, or they added that to create some sort of fucking plus or whatever on the TV reality show. But I was like, it's not fucking something you do. It's like, and I was like, right away, I was kind of,
okay, so it was playing with fire. I thought it was playing with fire, especially knowing who Harlem is and his own admissions about what his personal failures have been in the past. And I can't.
Did it feel to you like it was the absolute opposite of what Booker was telling him last week?
I think so. I think it's the and I think that, and I'm not gonna fault Harlem for listening to his coach. I mean, we gave Trill the pass because he listened to Michelle last week, and I mean, you're supposed to listen to your coach. That's what they're there for. Booker is a Hall of Famer as well. I mean, he's had a 30.
He's a coach also. He has a wrestling school. So
right.
As a wrestling school like owner and teacher, do you go out there and tell your kids to be stiff? I was like,
yeah. Yeah, I obviously, I mean, I think from early on, from my phraseology and continuing, I was uncomfortable with it, but I wanted to know from the inside if it's something that is done, and apparently it is not. I mean,
it's done. It's done, but is it right? No.
And I'm sure that there are exceptions to the rule. I'm sure that there's times when it's exactly what's needed or exactly what's appropriate.
Sometimes, like if a guy's an asshole, coach might ask for, can you kind of let him know to fucking calm down. But it's not about being stiff and what Taker says, actually taking liberties. It's, you're just a little bit more snug and you throw him around a little bit more and kind of for him to kind of wake up and kind of figure out that, something's wrong, something's off, but not to the point of beating. I mean, right now, the Raja Jackson thing's going around. I mean, okay, guy was drunk, hit him with a fucking can. You don't fucking do that, first of all. It's ridiculous. But then it ended up with a guy fucking beating up the other guy in the hospital. I mean, that's why I'm like saying there's a fucking limit to things that you do.
2 hours later also. I mean, it's wrestling. Anything you should assume is part of the work and not... Anyway, here's what I like about Shiloh.
I was going to say, if we want to go into something more positive, Shiloh's promo. Oh my God, the way he absolutely went nuts in the locker room, and you might be the dog that barks, but I'm the dog that fucking bite. And I thought it was just awesome character. And I'll say it again, I see. Bayou kind of Bray Wyatt. Oh my God.
Bray Wyatt giggling. Yes.
Oh my God. It's so him. Like, cancel the Wyatt sits and put this guy as his illegitimate son.
Seriously, if Bo's not healthy enough to wrestle, if Bo can't get himself into shape for whatever reason, just let him do the writing and let Shiloh do it. But I mean, here's the thing about Shiloh. I mean, not only does he do that great and say how he knows Harlem, but Shiloh consistently, even from season 1, and I was always trying to put my finger on it, like what's it about him? Is he's always smiling, but he's one of those guys, he's still serious when he smiles. He's got like the exact right disposition, temperament, and intelligence for us, in that he can still have fun with it, but even though he's smiling, doesn't mean he's lighthearted. Like, he's still serious.
No, it tells me there's a couple of screws that are loose in there. just that, like, and it works.
And he's not going to back down. It tells me he's unafraid. He's unafraid of anything. Like, his natural state is fearless. And I think that is pretty darn cool. So obviously we're getting the Shiloh and Harlem match. Shiloh comes out, I think, pretty clearly as the face, and Harlem comes out as the heel, very much in the P-Nasty.
Did you notice the way Harlem came out this week? I felt like he looked like Chris Benoit. The way he was like walking and looking at the camera, I was like, this is so, like, the look in his eyes, like, it was so Benoit like. I know we're not supposed to say his name, but when things were good,
he was a very successful wrestler for a very long time. So anyway, we can do. Listen, you're the new star of Wrestling Soup. You can say whatever you want.
I wouldn't bank on that. But that's what I saw, like, when he did an entrance.
Jerry Borash, though. It's like he almost fed into what I said earlier, because he said on commentary that he senses desperation in Booker T, not in Harlem. And I felt the same way. I'm like, I thought he went too far. Obviously, I thought he went too far. But also when Borash says it, I mean, I don't know if they're just eavesdropping, if they have production meetings, they see it on camera, or if this is part of a shtick. So,
yes to all of these questions. That's what I think now. It's supposed to be things that happen between the students and the coach, but then the commentators are talking about it. So I was like, It's like, I mean, especially this part where the coach tells the student to be stiff. It's not like they know that Sirena and was it Bailey, they're friends and they train together. It's not that kind of information. Like, your coach telling you to be stiff and beat his ass is usually something that's confidential. So, yeah, when I heard Borash say that, I was like, well, anyway, yeah. So the match started great. The lockup into international with the tackles, and what I called the Shiloh flip. I don't know what name he gave it, but it looks great. It's a great move, you know, in a babyface shine. There was a stiff clothesline on the apron, and a Shiloh came back with a stiff boot to the face where Taker even goes like, well, that was the receipt. Cannonball the outside. Like, I love that when Shiloh did the cannonball, he went in and out of the ring to break the count right away. Too many people don't. They just stay outside forever. Referee looks fucking stupid. But, you know, Shiloh had like right away one in and out and kept, you know, going outside. They were using the rails, like, and for the he threw Harlem threw Shiloh into those barricades and went back inside, and Snapmare with the running boot. That felt like, that was like stiff. And Taker says like, I ain't convinced it ain't real. So I was like, okay. So Taker was great in this match. Shiloh had great punches with sounds, especially the gut punches looked great. I love that Harlem like was shit talking. And he did a back slap at one point, and Bubba's face like was like $1 million smile. Well, not a smile, but it was like, ooh.
It was like, what did I just see? What just happened?
Ooh, what was that? I like it. But to this point, like, it was still like kind of snug-ish. And then that's where, like, I mean, before that, Shiloh, like, was a great baby face. Like, even Harlem was putting the boots on him, like, beating him. He was never dying, trying to fight back. They went into a back and forth that ended up outside, and that's where shit hit the fan. They had to be separated. And, you know, that's where Undertaker, like, got mad and says, like, come on, bro, like, he's taking liberties. And Booker T was, like, denying it. And, like, Taker went on, it's like, that ain't working. That's fucking bullshit.
Right.
And, you know, guys go backstage, there's a fight, and, well, yeah, what did you think about this whole thing?
I mean, first of all, when they were actually in the ring wrestling, snug or stiff or however you want to put it, it was awesome. When they were outside on the apron, that exchange, the big kick from Shiloh, when I think Shiloh missed with a right arm clothesline and then reversed it with a left arm clothesline, or I got the arms backwards, but that was awesome also. I've seen Raquel Rodriguez do it, and the first time I saw her do it, it was pretty impressive. Then it's just part of her routine, but I've never seen it from him before. And on the apron, I think Harlem talking and like sort of slapping the back of Shiloh's head was very effective, and him jaw-jacking. Booker was egging him on the whole time, which, you know, again, as the outsider, I thought that wasn't a great idea. So, you know, but what's Harlem supposed to do? So, I mean,
he looked like
right
a master manipulator. Yeah, he looked like a cartoony master manipulator, like with almost like Mr. Burns. Yes, excellent. That's what it felt like that to me. And I was like, and he looked like evil. I was like, maybe that's a little bit too much. But again, Taker was the show for me at this point. He was like, huh. Yeah, you never see him like kind of, I wouldn't say there was distress in his face. Like it was more of he was like, what am I looking at? What the fuck's happening? What, you guys are taking liberties. You guys are fucking taking liberties. And then he slowly got like, as like every second he was getting mad. It's like, so that was great Taker stuff. But yeah, Booker, like the Mr. Burn, like Booker, like excellent. Like, I don't know. What did you think about that?
I mean, when it went outside, I mean, the funny thing is that the wrestling stiff looked better than the real fight part of it. The real fight part of it, real fights just are so sloppy, and it doesn't look like anyone's hitting each other. And I'm never real sure, because it's still the refs, it's still the officials, it's still the fake security. And then I realized it was the competitors who were also coming out to break them. Like I saw Anthony Luke out there, and I saw, I mean, of all people, BJ Ray was right in the middle of everything, trying to break up things.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, he scored some because he was wearing a stupid white, shirt with the pop-up collar, I think, or at least he was wearing a white shirt, and everyone else was sort of either in the sort of the bluish gray ref shirt or just black WWE, warmers. Until the live rounds part, I thought it was awesome. You agree it was liberties? I don't know what's real and what's fake. It looked really sloppy.
Well, I just quoted Undertaker. And the way Booker T is selling this, to me, it screams staged. Like, it's too fucking much.
That's what I can't get out of my head. Like, this is...
And I don't know why a coach would do that. Yeah, to me, it's no.
And to drum up this kind of false drama or real drama to drum it up for this TV show, for people that you're actually investing in the future, with two guys who are 250 pounds and really strong, seems like a really bad. I mean, if you're gonna do it, at least do it with Summer Sorrell and Hayes Jamison or something where they probably can't actually hurt each other. You know, I mean, I don't know this, and then it continued backstage, and you know, it's not like the fight got any better, but that was clear. I mean, you know, and I saw that Shiloh, I don't know if his black eye got re-aggravated or it never healed before this, but he had like a smaller version of the black eye that he'd gotten on the house show. So again, I'm not sure about the chronology, but yeah, BJ was right there in the middle. Go, nope. And then that big guy, the trainer, also getting in there, but everyone was in there. And I don't know, this is, I put this at the feet of, I don't think Booker did himself any favors. And listen, the score, the only other person with 2 points is now out of the competition. That's Elijah Holyfield. So if you want to keep Shiloh from getting a point, I get it, but Harlem has 1 point. So if you want him to get the point, I mean, you have to, if you're going to be irresponsible with your direction, give him more direction. You have to let him know when to stop and when is when. And at some point he should have yelled back, okay, reel it in, back into the ring, Tiger. Something. He didn't. He kept going, get him, get his ass.
Yeah.
It's like he wanted it was like high school where the kids are in a circle like, fight.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I mean, before the whole shit outside, Arlen was doing great as a heel. Like, he could have won the point. He was doing great work. He looked like very intense. Everything was like looking good. Like he was doing like, yeah, his heel persona is like believable, and he was doing great. I was like, you don't necessarily, that's why I like, if you know, it's
do you think this was a setup so that to make sure that neither one of them got a point, just so that we could
could be, but I mean, one thing I've noticed is after, like, not Shiloh, but Arlen was talking to the camera after, and he was like, well, I've listened to my coach and I did what he said, and he looked kind of confused. And
but I don't know. He is kind of confused. Like, I don't want to say something derogatory. Like, when I say ignorant, I mean, I think that he just doesn't know what he doesn't know. And he's there to learn. They're there to teach him. And I don't really think that he knew. Like, coaches in sports are supposed to correct you. But I know every now and then they tell someone to get chippy or do something. But the person knows that they're being asked to do something dirty. They know that they might get ejected from the game. They know the reason for it. Harlem, I think, was just a missile that wasn't given direction. But I'm kind of thinking that the fix was in so that neither of these guys got a point, and so Anthony and Luke could climb back into the contenders. Because I mean, these guys were, you know, even before the match ended, I don't know how you would have picked one of them over the other. So it's almost like, you know, whoever, if anyone else shined, they were destined to get the point anyway. So maybe they just want some drama. I don't know if anyone's that clever, to be honest. I don't know that anyone plays enough chess.
I don't know. It didn't look good for Booker T on TV. It looked, you know, Arlem's already a hothead, and telling him to be stiff when he kind of made peace with that the week before, that he was going to, you know, listen to his coach and, you know, not do crazy things. And then the fucking following week is his trainer's telling him to be stiff, which is the opposite of like, oh, I'll take it. Like, I'll try to calm down and try to deal with my anger and be more like level headed. And it's like, that went completely out the window, and fuck it. And yeah, so that wasn't a good look. And it's like, whatever. And good news though, the main event was Drake Morreau versus Anthony Luke. We had Taker and his lovely wife, Michelle, again, being the guest of NXT with the crowd and everything. There was a little stage thing in the back for Maxine Dupree and Roxanne Perez, which was called the Little Pitbull by her boyfriend, which I thought was really cute. But I mean, it was obviously staged, but it was a funny little thing just to have them in the crowd. It adds up to the show with the fans being in there. So I'm okay with that. And do you wanna go with this match first, or you want me to get into it? Because this fucking match was awesome.
I want you to get into it because I mean, my main question was that stuff with the women that was fake as hell, right? And you said right.
Oh yeah. I believe it was staged to add to the match because they kind of played with that within the match, but I have no problem with that. Like, I mean, to have a little backstage thing happening before they go out, that's cool. It's not like a coach telling somebody to get stiff, It's like, but they're both going out with the WWE superstar. I'm cool with that.
Wrestling stories. That's a wrestling.
Yeah, and it's more eyes on the product because people know those two gals. It's absolutely fine.
I had no issue with it at all. I just wanted to make sure that you agreed with it was fake because
yeah.
It seemed fake as hell to me. But
no, it wasn't.
You're much better at breaking down the matches than I am, and then I'll give my 2 cents. In this case, it really will be 2 cents.
Yeah, this match, Luke, his entrance, trash talking, everything, the lighting. I just looked at him as like, this guy's a fucking star. I've been like close to telling it in the past week, but now with this fucking match, I know he is. And Drake finally came out super babyface, wanting to dance with the audience, super like over. Finally was clear that he was like the babyface. It matches his song. The lockup was great. Luke's footing, like the way he got into the lockup, into the way he was moving slowly between the holds and taking his time so people would see what he was doing. That's TV quality. And his facial expression, his mouth running like constantly, cheating. And, he went to pull the hair of Drake, and Taker goes like, "Oh, did you see the hair pulling?" The Michelle was like, "I didn't see that. I learned that from Booker." I was like, "Oh, this is so great." More and more, I love Michelle. She has those lines that are like, she's not laughing, but it's absolutely hilarious.
She's deceptively interesting.
I know, right? She is. Drake, like, his shots were good. He was solid. I love that Luke went into that dancing part and grabbed like Drake's ear. I was like, good. The heel will grab anything that's like illegal or whatever. The crowd, like, they went into the tackles, and then Drake did the dance to kind of like laugh at Luke, which, Luke gave him kind of the permission, because when the heel does it, the face can do it too. So the crowd at this point were on their feet. The Drake did a nice like step up splash on the bottom rope. Then Luke blocked the choke slam, rolled out. It's like his face selling, like being overconfident. And Drake, like, he grabbed his hair. Sheamus, like, he went for the 10 like chest kind of pounding thing Sheamus does. And Luke goes into a guillotine and then goes out, and he's like talking shit, and then gets grabbed by the hair up in there. And he went into a little bit of heat there. And I love that he was looking for Michelle's approval. He's like, "Yeah, do you see that, coach? See, coach, I'm fucking good. I'm great at this shit." Like, everything was there. Like, they went into a 1-2 with punches. And last week we had two people do that. I think it was Thrill and BJ Ray, and it was just punches. But this time they were registering, they were selling each punch. Like, the punches mean something. Like, and Drake did an awesome comeback with a lot like fire. And Luke in the end, like, used the rope and kind of hide underneath the ropes, like, to kind of kill time. Pulled Drake in a corner, super Uranagi or whatever he calls it, like a super like rock bottom.
Right.
And I was like, this match was fucking awesome. It was
the lights, camera, action.
Yeah, lights, camera, action. Yes, that's true. They mentioned it. But yeah, this match to me was TV quality. Both guys look great. They look like stars. They took their time. Every shot looked good. Every whip looked good. And the whole match made sense. Yeah, I think that's probably the best match I have seen on this season.
I have to say that I don't know about the best match of the season, because I'm not ready to say that or not.
A very good one.
I mean, I really enjoyed that first time that Hayes Jamison came out in that character that one time.
That's
but
true.
For everything you said, Yes, yes, yes. Like in who is Harry Met Sally? Meg Ryan, like Meg Ryan, and when Harry Met
Ryan.
Sally, I'm basically eating the corned beef sandwich with the orgasm right now. Absolutely. I mean, first of all, Anthony Luke. If there's anything the resting on the laurel thinks he's looked a little soft. He didn't look soft. Like he had abs this week. I don't know if he's been dieting. I don't know if he worked out harder. I don't know how you do that in 1 week. I don't know if we've missed 4 weeks involved and people said you look a little
Or
soft.
the lighting. But yeah, he looked like a star. A star.
Yeah. So he looked more built. Their entrances were great. I loved how he kissed Maxine on the lips. Drake Morreau sort of did the
A little kiss on the hand.
him with his beads. He was giving out beads to a kid. He gave one. There's one for you too, and he put it over the camera. It's like he was so comfortable. It's like he's been doing it 100.
Like Bret Hart.
Yeah, no, the whole thing was great. I mean,
Oh,
he
yeah.
was so facey. He was so animated, and Luke was he was crafty. He was being smart the whole time. He was pointing to us at. And I loved it when he was doing the praise of Michelle that Morreau caught him and pulled him by his hair. You're 100. His facials were great, but even the better part is that you think that this is where Morreau turns him around and like wallops and that. No, Anthony Luke pulled him and did like a chin breaker. He just dropped back down. So he was still smart, even in being cocky. I just thought this whole thing was wonderfully booked. I think that there was the crafty win. They both played to their strengths. It was the best that they've both looked. But Drake Morreau, this is probably the best he's been, maybe the second best. But Anthony Luke is one of those guys who said, I give everyone their best match. And I'm not sure he's always right about that, but he's right more often than he's not. And he was fantastic. And I'm almost glad that the other two guys gypped me of their match, because if they continue to have that Sheamus Rusev match, but in fast forward, like at full speed, like they were doing, and it actually worked out as a match, I don't know that I would have loved this as much. But you're right. This was a TV wrestling match. Somehow there was a story already there with the women, and that's
You don't need much. You don't need much. See, girlfriends are in attendance. They both want to prove and show them they're the man. Coaches are watching. Look at us. It's easy.
That's why I sort of think the fix was in for Shiloh and Harlem. I still think it was dangerous, but I don't know. Whatever. Maybe I'm getting too conspiratorial. But Anthony Luke, I mean, fantastic. I mean, far and away.
I've been telling you, he's to me, he's gonna be one that can make it to the main roster. He has something. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen, even at the end of last year, Undertaker brought Shiloh, Luke, and Jasper Troy to NXT to confront that and said, "You're the ruler now, but look at the future." And and so those three guys were they're not really fighting for contracts. It's just like how fast, who's in Evolve, who's in NXT, how far. Does somebody skip over and go straight into the
Who will be first? Yeah.
Anyway, so the judges section, they go with the females first. Nobody voted for Penina this week, which is, I agree. I'm not saying I disagree. I'm just shocked that finally it's like, I don't know what she did differently. Booker voted for.
But I told you, same thing. No expression, no bland. You got to step up now. You're big, you're good. Add more. Make me care now. So
it's not that she was always the same before. It's that she was still the same now when it's gas to the pedal time.
I've seen her with more conviction in what she was doing. This week was just like, just going through the motion. That's how it felt this week.
I don't think she wanted to hurt Sirena. I think she wanted Sirena to look okay, which, again, how much is too much? How generous is too generous? How much is being responsible? Anyway, Booker voted for his gal Sirena. I wouldn't have voted for her, but fine. Booker's feeling selfish this week, it seems. So he's got to protect his turf. Bubba voted for Zena. No surprise there. Not that she didn't deserve it. Taker voted for his girl, Dani. Not surprising, though I would have voted for Zena and Michelle. Also, I think we've disabused this spouses are in conspiracy with thing a long time ago, but she also voted for Zena. So Zena finally getting a point there for Team Bubba.
And it was deserved. She's the one that did everything right this week.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I was going to say well-deserved and you said well-deserved. So it's great that we're on the same page. with most things, you don't really. Then the men, Booker votes for his guy Harlem because he told him exactly what to do. Okay, Booker's feeling selfish. I don't know how you do that. Again, I sort of covered this, but I mean, is Booker confusing like a pile of clay that he's supposed to mold, but instead he's got an angry young man that he's. I just feel like Booker was really irresponsible this week, and I love.
Yeah, and I mean Taker and Michelle were, on point for this. Taker like literally said, "Liberties will get you the future on the future endeavors list," and he's right. He's right. And Michelle even like she clearly said, "I can't vote for that match. I can't." It kind of like ended in a schmoz, and it was like a free for all at the end. So I can't vote for this. It was like, yep, pretty much.
Agree 100% with what Michelle said. And Michelle voted for Anthony Luke. Undertaker voted for Shiloh, his guy, which I think was just a FU to Booker. I think that was just a tick for tack. Bubba actually said, he asked Harlem, what went wrong? Who was wrong here? And Harlem Lewis, to his credit, said, both of us. And Bubba goes, that's the exact right answer. So maybe in some sort of roundabout way, this was what was needed, maybe with the exact right guy. I don't know that I like it, and I know you don't like it, so that means I shouldn't like it, because if a professional doesn't like it, then I shouldn't like it either, because I was uncomfortable with it, which I've now said 100 times. So Bubba ended up voting for Anthony Luke. Well, I think it should have been 4 for 4 for Anthony Luke this week, 100%. So Michelle,
well, not that I disagree, because like I said, Anthony Luke to me is a standout, but to me, who fucking was so much better this week and everything was great. Drake was so good this week, and with Taker voting for Shiloh instead of Drake, it made me. It's something that you often see in wrestling. When somebody's so high on someone, they don't see anybody else. And I felt like, I was like, Taker's so high on Shiloh that he doesn't see how fucking good Drake is. Like, he was flawless this week. I mean, that Anthony Luke wins this, no complaints. He was fucking awesome, and I've been saying it for a while now. I believe he's a star. He's definitely going somewhere. But Drake, with the performance I saw today, he's money. He's money too as a big man babyface. He can move. His hits are great. He's believable. He's lovable. So you need that in big men like that can move. And I was like, Taker doesn't give him enough credit. It's always Shiloh. Shiloh's good. Shiloh is doing great stuff, like we said before. But yeah, he underestimates Drake's, and it's like, dude, take off your Shiloh glasses for a second and look, your other guy is fucking money too. And yeah, that's just my take on it. But honestly, Drake or Anthony here, great stuff. I mean, it was a great match.
I just think this was checkers. I think Booker voted for Harlem, so Taker.
Yeah, maybe he says but fuck it, I'm gonna. Yeah. He was so pissed that.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't say anything else. He just said Shiloh. I mean, so he knew what he was going to say as soon as Booker said what he was going to say. I don't think he actually thinks that Shiloh won the week, but I think he thinks that Shiloh morally and as a tough guy and standing his ground, and that he sort of won it. And he knew Drake wasn't going to win. It was just going to be 3-1 anyway. But I agree. This was one of Drake's best showing, and it kills me that I can't exactly place who he reminds me of. And I keep going back to Hillbilly Jim, but Hillbilly Jim was not as rhythmic. He wasn't as graceful, but it's a similar character. But there's somebody else. There was another guy who was big, who sort of did the moves, and I can't place it. And he might not have been.
His facial and the way people love him reminds me of super babyface Diesel Kevin Nash, but he moves a lot more. Yeah. But he has a little bit of that in him. But yeah, definitely he moves a lot more. But I don't know, the smile, maybe the way he's built reminds me of Big Daddy Cool Diesel. Yeah,
I might be putting the Road Dogg moves with Hillbilly Jim, and maybe that's what I'm putting together.
Maybe that's what's going on.
There is no one guy. Anyway, I agree. I voted for Anthony, and that was fine. So Team Michelle McCool, she's leading the pack with 7.
7.
Yeah, Taker is 12, and I'm 12. 5.
5.
5. 7 plus 5 is 12, but Taker only has 5 of those points. Booker and Bubba with 3 each. Shiloh and Anthony are tied with 2. Penina's still standing alone at 4, and Dani and Zena both have 2. So, we're sort of seeing these things fill up. I'm going to make a guess that whatever happens next week, actually I'm not, because we got 2 weeks. Obviously, either Harlem or Trill are going to be outside on the bubble, unless somebody really shocks us. And I don't know. I don't think Chris Island or BJ Ray have it in them. Drake has it in him. He could make it into that top 4, I suppose. Mm-hmm. For the women, I mean, I'm going to go with Hayes. She's been such a good character, but they do sort of penalize.
I feel they don't see her. I feel they don't see her.
Yeah.
Like it's always like, oh, it's Bailey. Oh, Bailey, Penina, Zena, and Dani, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's going to be an LFG 3, and you know what? I'm going to make a prediction that LFG season 3, assuming there is one, that Undertaker picks Harlem Lewis, because he's going to say, that is a dog that I can direct better than you.
Yeah, I'll teach him how to do it, because he has every tool like in the toolbox, but the not the carpenter, but the boss on the construction field is not doing his job. So
he's seen too many nails. So he has a hammer and he's just telling him to hit nails instead of trying to actually build anything. So that's my fantasy booking for LFG next season. But this episode I found to be very entertaining and
went by fast.
It went fast, and whether that was over dramatized or real, I mean, I do care, but I don't care for my entertainment purposes. I do care in real life. I think I've beaten this one to death like a hammer with nails. So I don't know. With that, I have nothing clever to say. Do you have any wisdom or thoughts before we start selling our stuff?
I just think that some people who were like kind of good but not over the top, like this week really shined, like Drake. Anthony got even better. Zena, finally, we were able to see what Bubba has been talking about for weeks now. And I mean, besides that, the thing with Booker T, I'm like, why would you do this if it's a shoot? Why would you stage this if it's, I understand the TV reality, but is it something you want to show to the people out there, like especially when you have a school?
Do we get any clarification on this next week from Booker?
Well, here's the thing: are we going to hear anything? What I think is really interesting for next week. So the other people who didn't have the opportunity to wrestle this time will. So we know it's going to be Hayes versus Tatiana, Bailey versus Summer, Thrill versus Chris, but then there's BJ. Who is BJ gonna fight? We don't know. Are they gonna bring a special guest? Is one of the coaches go in the ring and kind of teach BJ? Oh, I want to see BJ versus Bubba. Don't you? Oh my God.
Maybe 15 years ago. I'm not sure how well Bubba.
Oh, Bubba could go. I'm sure he could go and kind of. We were talking about going in the ring and rough up someone just to have them like wake up and kind of smell the roses and take this seriously, kid. So Bubba could do that. That would be great. But I don't know if we're gonna use somebody who did wrestle this week.
Maybe Cutler James, who replaced BJ Ray last year and is on NXT having some success, I suppose. His faction is anyway.
So we'll see. We'll see how it's gonna go. I'm
maybe another bubble guy. Maybe they put him against Drake Morreau and say you're sort of on the bubble, or maybe they say, maybe they have a.
Are they gonna give a chance to Shiloh to have a fucking decent match, not with somebody who's been told to be stiff?
Right. Well, he would be wrestling with another knucklehead, so we'll see a different sort of knucklehead. But hey, listen, this is a reason to tune in next week, and I'm looking forward to next week. And I enjoy this show very much, and And I like that it peels back the curtain, but there's still some room to wonder. And that's why your eye is so valuable here as well. So with that, where can people find and follow and support you?
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram, Lufisto at Arts and Wrestling, Facebook.com/Lufisto. I'm at Lufisto on X. And you can also follow Women's Wrestling Syndicate on YouTube. Subscribe to her channel. Lots of matches. I just added Sarah Del Rey versus Cherry Bomb. I'm adding a lot of stuff from years ago, matches that people maybe didn't see that happen in Quebec, with the greats. There's Madison Eagles, there's some Kong, and all kinds of stuff. So subscribe and you'll get a lot of good women wrestling. We have a show coming up on September 14 in my own town of Sorel, and everything you want to know about that, you can go on the Facebook page of Women's Wrestling Syndicate. It's just like at Women's Wrestling Syndicate, or just search in the search bar and you'll easily find it. And one more thing for today. It is September 2nd. I want to say happy birthday to one of my kitties, Miss Axel. She's my parrot princess and she turned 7. Yeah, these are my babies. So happy birthday, Axel. Mommy loves you.
Very nice. Well, happy birthday indeed. All right. So for me, you can find me at the Twitter at dose_evil for the wrestling stuff, which is probably all you want. Obviously, in addition to this show, I do the Evolve show called A Dose of Chocolate, which is on the Wrestling Soup and Friendos feed. We have 2 lost episodes, probably never to be found. So if you think that you missed 2 episodes, you didn't, and the F up is mine and entirely mine.
Ooh.
Exactly. But you can listen to it live on the Discord Thursday nights, usually shortly after Soup goes off the air. White Chocolate did come back last week. I don't know if that's going to be a regular thing. I hope it is. And if he is, we usually go on 15 minutes after Soup. If he's not able to do it, especially if I don't have a co-host, I will try to trap as many people who listen to Soup to stick around as possible, to try and, if there's 40 people sitting there, I will watch those 40 heads turn into 7 as I slowly weep and pretend I'm not weeping in cyberspace. But I also have a show called Garden of Thought. There's basically 3 varieties of that show in that, but they're all a little bit like Joe Rogan with the type of variety. So if you turn on the History Channel or Discovery Channel at 7 p.m. and leave it on until 3 a.m., you'll get that kind of variety, though, with a little dose of more business and legal and stuff like that on the midweek show, typically. Then I also do the one GOT is called The Gospel of Thomas, was my co-host is Mr. Thomas from Major League Wrestling, used to be PJ Black. And this month, Thomas is still off, so Akira Kwan's been my co-host twice, and might be 3 times, Vinny Pacifico once. We're going to talk to a promoter tonight who has some haunted stories to tell us, so that's pretty cool. And on my regular show, my favorite esoteric team of the Reverend Dr. David Parry, who you probably don't know unless you listen to Garden of Thought, but my other guest, Aaron Stevens, Aaron Rex, Damian Sandow, and he is a Freemason, and this is now his 2nd time on Garden of Thought, his 3rd time he was our first guest on Book of Black, and we go into the esoteric aspects of Alice in Wonderland and the Wizard of Oz and the Persephone archetype. And boy, if you're like, boy, I got to hear this. Yeah, you do. Anyway, and hopefully we're going to continue with that tandem. Anyway, I've said enough. I want to thank Mish and Joey for letting us be on this platform. I want to thank the listeners. Go to Wrestling Soup, subscribe on as many podcast platforms as you can. Go to YouTube, subscribe to their YouTube platform. They're just over 10,000. There's really no reason why the Mighty Soup shouldn't be like at 50,000, but let's go 10 by 10. Let's get them to 20,000. And if you can, I know times are tough, but if you can be a Patreon, that would be great. They give us a lot and don't ask for much, and including this show, which is new, including the Evolve show, which is relatively new. And there's talk of other shows coming in the future as well. Maybe even another one with me and Lufisto, because you guys seem to like us together and we like us together. So that could be cool. And there might even be a show with me and Mish. It's involving some legal and law stuff. So you never know, but you got to support them. You got to keep the electric bills paid for that to happen. So if you can be a Patreon, please do. If you can't, buy some merch, get a t-shirt, something like that. So anyway, I babbled on enough. Definitely support Lou and her, subscribe to her channel, follow the Women's Wrestling Syndicate, blah, 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 blah. But me too. But don't ignore me. I need love too. But them first.
Yes, give love to Jeff.
I'm happy to be third, but I don't, but I'm happy to be third and last. But I don't want to be left out. That's the thing. Don't leave me out, people. All right. I don't want to cry again.
And on that, as Jeff is wiping up his tears, we will see you next week for season 2, episode 11 of LFG from WWE. Boiled them, fried them, put them in a stew. Boiled them, fried them, put them in a stew. Boiled them, fried them, put them in a stew. Potato.